Smoking causes cancer. Consumption of alcohol is injurious to health. Be safe, don't drink and drive.
Our main agenda is the creation of Greater Tripura land. And now that Greater Tripura land is within the Constitution of India under Article 2, 3 and 4. And we are saying that until we are not given that demand, we will not go along with any political party. Why are we saying this? Because our existence is under threat. It is very important that we realize that our language, our identity, our culture is under threat. And no matter what development the government of India may promise us, they cannot protect our way of life, they cannot protect our language, they cannot protect our community. We have come only 30%. So until we are not given that constitutional protection, no amount of money, no amount of post will lure us away from our movement. In the Tripura are asking for Greater Tripura land. How can that be termed anti-national? You may be against the idea of a separate state. I agree, everybody has a view. But how can you call that movement anti-national? It could be against your sentiment, but you cannot call it anti-national. The problem is that for far too many years, they've made the tribal look like he is a violent person, or he or she is a violent person. A tribal is supposed to be a secessionist. A tribal cannot rationalize. A tribal cannot pick up an indigenous person. Whenever he raises a demand, it is always clubbed with violence or secessionism. Here is a democratically elected party asking for Greater Tripura land within the Article 2, 3, 4 of the Indian Constitution. If people have so much problem with that, then kindly amend the Constitution of India saying that this demand is allowed everywhere in India except for the state of Tripura. If till the time that is not there, I will keep on demanding this because the government of India, the Constitution of India gives me the provisions to demand for a creation of a smaller state. I'm also hopeful that the government of India realizes that our demand will be something which can be, they should look at it from a security point of view. Tomorrow, Bangladesh has got a huge population of minorities. And post Sheikh Hasina, you may have a problem in Bangladesh. And when that happens, you will have scores of minorities from Bangladesh crossing over to different parts of Northeast. At that time, the government of India needs to have a policy. Otherwise, states like Tripura, Meghalaya, Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland will not be able to contain this inflow of people who are obviously insecure. And then you will create internal strife. So the government of India should actually have a refugee policy. But they cannot allow people to keep on coming from across the border and becoming chief ministers, becoming chief justices, becoming MLAs and ministers. Then you are finishing an entire community which was in existence for 1,000 years. You cannot do that. If you want to rehabilitate people, please do it in equal numbers across the country. But one or two states, especially with small population, cannot absorb this influx anymore. Any identification of or law which actually discriminates people on the basis of religion is not acceptable to me. I have an NRC case in the Supreme Court. I have fought against CAA myself. It cannot be on the basis of religion. It has to be an illegal immigrant is an illegal immigrant, and if you want to rehabilitate them, please do so with the consent of the local population. It cannot be just because they belong to a certain religion, they will be rehabilitated. I think that is incorrect, and if the government of India wants to do something more to rehabilitate, especially the Hindu minorities from Bangladesh, they should do so in equal numbers across the country and not in small states where they have already taken in 3 times over its population, like in our case. Fought for a country. We fought for a country when for decades there would be bunds during Republic Day, during Independence Day. We have fought for our rights. We love our country. But the most important thing here is that if we demand something, kindly do not take it as anti-national. There have been elements which have actually picked up the gun and then made a demand, and the government of India has spoken to them. But to not speak to democratically elected people is a crime. We celebrate our democracy. So you should talk to people who are democratically elected. We love the idea of India. We are Indians. We are proud Indians. Make us, help us protect the boundaries of India. We'll do a far better job than anybody else because we've lived in the land for centuries and we'll do more to protect our land than any other forces which you may put.